Have you ever been told that you just need to strengthen your back, but every exercise seems to make it feel worse? If that's happened to you, you're definitely not alone. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people jumping straight into strength exercises before their body is actually ready for them. In my clinic, I take a different approach. Before we build strength, we first restore movement, then improve stability and control, and only then do we build strength. So today I'm going to show you these 3 simple exercises that follow that same progression. So we're going to start off with restore first, and we're going to start off with something called pelvic tilts. Now, the first exercise isn't about strength at all. It's simply about restoring gentle movement through the pelvis and the lower back. So when our lower back becomes stiff, what happens? We often stop moving through the pelvis naturally. Instead, the muscles tighten up and begin protecting that area. And pelvic tilts actually help reconnect that movement. And to start off with our pelvic tilts, we're going to lie back on the floor. You can do this on a bed as well. You can also use a pillow if you feel that's going to be a little bit more comfortable. But any place really, on the bed, on the floor, it should feel fine. So the first idea is behind the restore is to eliminate all stress that's on the body. Any fear or avoidance that you've got, any discomfort, any compensation and dysfunction. We want to eliminate that as much as possible, because when you start strengthening, your body can go into a compensation pattern and then try and just stiffen up and protect everything, and that is counterproductive. So the first thing that we want to do is we first want to just mobilize that lower back and maybe just help settle it down first. So a very simple exercise we do is we just gently tilt the pelvis forward and back, almost like a rocking motion. It's like I'm trying to flatten my lower back into the floor or the bed, whatever you're working on, and then we arch that lower back as much as we can. And the important part of the restore function is I want you to feel what it feels like. Can you do the movement? So I always ask my patients, can you actually complete the full tilt forward and the full arch? And the next thing I ask them is, how does it feel? What are you feeling? And how are you doing it? What are the muscles that you feel are actually getting involved? Because when you're tilting backwards, I don't want you to necessarily feel the glutes working. I want you to feel the pelvic floor and the muscles deep inside contracting and rolling the pelvis back. And the opposite is happening on the lower back. You will feel a stretch in the lumbar area and a contraction here. And when we do the arching of rolling the pelvis forward, you should feel a contraction of the muscles in the lower back and a stretch of the muscles in the pelvic floor area or the abractus abdominis area. And we just tilt back gently. And we do this about 10 or 15 times. And the idea is to completely just settle down the back, see what it feels like, try to remove that gripping or that protective spasms that's around the back. Now this is, however, we are addressing non-specific lower back pain today. If you had back operations, please speak to your healthcare provider and make sure that the reason for your lower back pain is purely just muscular, and it's not because you had a fall and you may have hurt some of the inserts or the screws or anything related to the back op. But these are safe exercises and they are completely safe for any type of back operation that you had. Now, we're going to move on to the next portion of the exercise, and that is to improve the movement. So to improve the movement is we're going to now need to incorporate some core stability and control in this pelvic area here. So now we've loosened up and we've restored some of the movement, the natural movement of the pelvis, and we kind of like get an idea of where our neutral position is. So there's always a little bit of a hollowness there. It's not too flat or not too arched. It's somewhere in the middle, and it's something you can pick up on when you tilt as far forward and far back and you find that middle position. Okay, now we're ready to improve on the stability and the control. Now we're going to breathe, because we want to switch on the diaphragm and make sure that your brain connects with your diaphragm. And to do that, you're simply going to place one hand on your chest and the other one on your belly button, and you're going to breathe now for me in through the nose, out through the mouth, everything into the stomach, nothing into the chest. And it's going to look something like this. As I breathe in, my belly pushes out, and as I breathe out, my hand almost falls below my chest. And again, in and out. And you'll see my top hand is not moving up and down. In. And I want you to feel again, can you do it? I've seen some people, when they breathe in, they breathe into the upper chest and their belly button isn't moving, or the diaphragm isn't pushing out. So they got their breathing switched around. They're doing upper chest breathing. And we need to reset that. Okay, so it's in and out. And we continue for 10 breaths until we feel a nice, smooth contraction of the diaphragm and relaxation of the diaphragm. Then on the last one, we're going to breathe out. And as our hand drops, I want you to now move your hands to this position. I call this the Peter Pan position, where we stand with the thumb around the lumbar area, or just behind the pelvis on that soft part, and then the 4 fingers just above that bony part there. And I want you to press inside into your belly. And as you breathe out, you're going to breathe out so much that you're going to feel your muscles are pushing your fingers out. Okay, so you cannot poke your belly in anymore. Now you've got that tightness or that tension around the belly button. Now we're going to switch the breathing, and we're going to now switch from diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing into upper chest breathing. So from there, we're going to now breathe in. So now you can see my belly on the inhale is no longer moving up and down. I'm now doing upper chest breathing because I am now controlling my core. And because your diaphragm forms part of your core group, it is now busy protecting this lumbar area. So now we do another 10 breaths. And I'm keeping my fingers there because I want you to feel the tension that you are maintaining there. And every time you breathe in or out, you're not allowed to let that soften up. So the first exercise or first drill to improve is just the breathing, maintaining complete control around this belly area. And I can feel it burning already. And let's do another 5. It's really tense here, and I can actually feel it with my thumb in the back that I've created this belt or this corset that is actually tightening up, closing in around my spine. While I'm breathing, I'm not letting it go like that. I've just let everything go. Now I'm just breathing, and everything has now gone soft here, including my pelvis is now easily movable, and that's what we want to try and avoid. We want to try and lock in that position of the lumbar spine. As soon as we get that neutral position, again established from the rocking forward and back, find the middle position, controlling the breathing, tightening up the core all the way around. I don't want you to suck in the belly, because once you suck in the belly, you might flatten your back out on the floor, and we don't want that. We just want a neutral position. I want you to close in around by just tightening as you breathe out completely until you can't anymore. You'll feel that this pushes out. And now we're going to go for a few more breaths in and out. You can see my belly is no longer moving up and down. It's burning. 2 more. And out. And last one. And you'll find that you won't be able to breathe in as deeply anymore. It's more now a shallower upper chest breathing, which is okay for what we're going to be doing now. Now, our next phase is we're going to now do a march. And to do that, again, we're going to keep our fingers on the bony parts of our pelvis this time, right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick up one leg up to there, slowly lower it down, and pick up the other side. Okay, and relax. This is still part of the improving the core and the control, the stability and the control, the motor control aspect up. So what you're looking at here is I'm changing leg positions, and I'm not picking up any movement in the pelvis. That's important, because as soon as you see the pelvis lifting or moving, okay, it means there's no longer any core control and the lower back is compromised. It's moving uncontrollably. There's uncontrolled movement. So what we got to do is, in the improved phase or the second phase of these exercises, is make sure that you've got complete control of the lumbar spine. And once you pick up that one leg, there is no movement like this happening in the pelvis. Okay, so you've got to minimize it as much as possible, because we are now simulating walking. And if you walk and you don't have the proper control around the pelvis and the lumbar area, your pelvis is going to do this while you're walking, and your lumbar spine is going to move around uncontrollably, and that is going to contribute to an unstable lumbar area, which can produce lower back pain and can lead to injuries. So you want to maintain complete control around that pelvic area and lumbar area. My lower back is not moving at all. And we go one more, and relax. If you feel discomfort in the lower back doing this, I want you to continue, go back to restore and feel, where are you feeling that pain? If there's an area that you feel pain in, it could be when you are either rolled all the way too far back or rolled too far forward. You might feel pain in those two areas. I want you to come back, bring it back into the middle. And if there's no pain there, the second phase is to control completely with the diaphragm and the core, lock everything in, bring everything as close and as tight around the spine as possible before you start moving this. You shouldn't feel any pain once everything is locked in, and we're doing a very, very basic movement like just marching. Okay. And relax. So once we've made it past this stage and you have no pain and you've got good control around the midsection and good breathing, now we're going to move on to the build stage, or the build or strengthen. So from here, we're going to go into a basic back bridge. This is one of my favorite exercises, not just for lower back patients, but for anybody who wants to learn how to squat, who wants to learn how to deadlift, who wants to learn how to move properly. It all begins with learning how to control the spine and the core. So from there, we're going to make sure we bring our heels in as close as we can. If you can't, that's fine. If you maybe had a knee replacement, and bring it back as much as possible, because after you've done the first set and you get ready to do the second set, you'll notice that you'll be able to move your feet back a little bit. So every time you complete a set of the back bridges or glute bridges, see if you can bring your feet or your heels back closer every time. Okay. Now from there, we're going to go through past the first phase, restore, making sure our pelvis is in the right position. Second stage of the improve is making sure we got good control and good breathing, and making sure that everything remains completely tight, and well, not completely tight, but it's not moving. So there's enough tension around the pelvic floor and the spinal area just to eliminate any uncontrolled movement of the spine and pelvis. Now the third portion is we got to keep the first and second one in control while we're lifting our hips up off the floor and slowly come down. Now, one thing I notice sometimes is when people bring their hips down to the floor or their bum starts touching, they relax everything. Okay, we don't want that. We want complete control like we've got in the improved stage 2. We want to make sure this does not lapse or go soft. Okay, so the entire duration of the 15 repetitions we're going to be doing, there's tension there all the time. Okay, if you want, you can squeeze your glutes at the top. If you cannot make it this high, the idea is to get your knees, your hips, and your shoulders in one line. But if you can't, just lift it up as far as you feel comfortable. You might have tight quads. You might lose the position. If you're going to force yourself to go too high too quickly, you might lose the position of the pelvis because of the tight quads. So I want you to only move up as far as you feel comfortable and no pain on the lower back. It's important that we either have no pain or very, very minimal sensation or discomfort. Okay, I can really feel my glutes working. That's the idea. We want to get the glutes to fire first. You can give them a little squeeze only when you get to the top. Slow and control down. Watch the core. And let's go for another 5. I can really feel this burning and my glutes burning too. Those are the two areas I want you to feel working the hardest, is yeah and yeah. Let's go 2 more. Sure, this is tough. One more note. I want you to press your shoulder blades down into the ground as if you are trying to pick yourself up using your shoulders. You're building that connection between your shoulder blades, your lats, the thoracolumbar fascia, and the glutes. Those connect together, and you do need tension or a relationship between those two for this pattern to work properly. Oh, I can feel this is burning. Let's go 1 more. Breathe out, squeeze, keep it tension, breathing normally through the upper chest, slowly down, control, control, and relax. Wow, that was intense. So a very basic exercise or very basic drill that I like to use with all my patients: restore, improve, build. It's just another method I use to help explain that there is a certain hierarchy of exercises that you need to have in order for you to actually progress through your exercises. A lot of people like to jump in just into the strength phase, but if they miss out onto the restore and improve phase, they are losing out on strength gains, they are losing out on muscle gains, they are losing out on all the additional exercise benefits. So give this a try. Play around with this, 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, and see how your back pain improves before you start building. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, and send it to somebody that you think might benefit. And leave a comment down below and tell me how your exercises are going. See you next time.